Morning, you'll be very interested to see a story on that's been teased on the front page of the Standard here, telling us my 31 days in isolation. If you're curious about what that is like, we have a story here of a woman who was a pharmacist, and a routine day at work on March the 20th for Faith Gaki, a pharmacist in Nairobi, turned into the beginning of a month-long nightmare when she tested positive for the coronavirus. And that, what you're seeing right there on your screen, is on page 4. And my 31 days in KU isolation was, she gives us her narrative. I had gone through this countless times. This is, she had a slight fever, a mild headache, of mild fatigue, but shrugged this off, dismissing them as the onset of a common cold. But, she had to get tested, and turns out she was positive for that.
Absolutely. And yes, I don't know if you know anybody who's tested positive, Tricks, but I think one of the things that is coming with COVID-19 is, to some degree, the stigma, because the minute you test positive, everybody kind of wants to keep away from you. They also ask the question, do I have to go for quarantine since we interacted with you? So it's an interesting read right there. But still, on matters COVID-19, page 5. Certain doctor, he's coming out with some information and saying that the lockdown is not the way to go. And according to him, what I find interesting about this article, he actually says it is the wrong way to go, because according to him, he says all you're doing is slowing down the process of everybody getting infected or developing an immune system to the COVID-19. So
wait,
an interesting
so we should all
read.
be infected and just, some of us die and others develop immunity.
According to him, all you're doing is slowing down that process. So at some point, remember, they've also talked about having the second wave of this particular pandemic. And he's saying that, according to this article, which I think I would recommend for people to read, his argument is that going on lockdown, all you're doing is slowing it down.
Yes, but
so at some point, it's still going to come up.
If we don't go into lockdown, my argument would be, while the process of developing an immunity would be faster, there are people who are dropping like flies in certain parts of this country. And it's good that the writer of this article actually ended up with bringing us back to reality, telling us that Kenya has 281 cases with 14 deaths. Globally, there were more than 2.5 million people confirmed cases and over 170,000 deaths.
So, on the side of that, there's, of course, the business